I've always found the Lobotomites from Fallout New Vegas' Old World Blues DLC to be both fascinating and incredibly creepy. But the one thing more terrifying than these lumbering aggressive brutes is the nightmarish procedure used by the disembodied scientists of the think tank to create these unfortunate, unwilling zombies that haunt the grounds of Big Mountain. So join me today, friends, as we take a look at the ghastly procedure that can turn you into one of these lobotomites, the fault that led to its nightmarish side effects, and how the Courier became one of these lobotomites themselves. So let's imagine you're an average guy or gal living in the Mojave Wasteland. Then one day you're either abducted in a similar manner to the Courier via a suspiciously placed drive-in satellite, or maybe you just wander into the Big Mountain whilst on a leisurely stroll through the Mojave Desert. Well, as soon as you arrive in Big Mountain, the specialised Autodoc Mark 9 of the Y-17 medical facility will begin its automated response programmed into it by Dr. Mobius, which will then send out Mr. Orderlies, or perhaps even these Vashta Narada looking Y-17 trauma override harnesses, to bring you in as a new test subject for experimentation, and transform you into an obedient, mindless servant. Once forcibly placed in the Autodoc Mark 9, you will have your heart and spine removed and replaced with enhanced mechanical replacements. This is done to make the process of removing the brain less complicated, while also having the added benefit of turning you into a tougher and more resilient worker. The Autodoc then creates a laser incision around your skull and detaches the brain from your body's nervous system. It will then place your brain in a jar of biogel to preserve it. In its place, your skull is filled with advanced Tesla coils and other electrodes and machinery that are intended to allow you to continue to cognitively function as you once did before, but also leave you under the control of the think tank scientists, unable to harm them in any way due to a pacification field interacting with your new synthetic mind. And you'll also be incapable of venturing past the radar fences surrounding Big Mountain without your extracted brain. And as if it couldn't get any worse for you, issues with the Autodoc's programming kind of mess up the brain extraction part of this experiment, and instead of extracting an intact brain, the Autodoc has managed to mangle, damage, or maybe even destroy your brain entirely. So congrats, you're now a lumbering, violent lobotomite of limited intelligence that will really vary depending on how badly that Autodoc messed up your mind. What's left of your brain is now kept in a jar whilst your body is put to work assisting the think tank with manual labour and so-called cleanup duties. And if you're lucky, you might even be used in splicing experiments and turned into one of these unfortunate robo-brains.
Happened before, yet I feel awake for the first time. What is going on? What is this strange new world around me? What does it hold in store for a dreamer such as myself?
It would appear, however, that the limited intelligence and aggressive nature of you and your fellow lobotomites makes you all rather poor workers, with lobotomites that were examined by think tank scientists displaying a tendency to spend most of their time either fighting each other or, quote, injecting bodily fluids into each other's orifices. So yeah, at least it sounds like you're having fun. It would appear that there are at least two exceptions to the terrible side effects of the lobotomization process. One being Christine Royce, the Brotherhood of Steel Knight, who was injured in an explosion at Big Mountain and taken to the Autodocs for repair and lobotomization. Before this process could be complete, however, Ulysses blew open the facility and stopped the experiment. While she was not fully lobotomized, the damage done by the surgery and the electrodes jammed into her skull did leave Christine incapable of reading and writing and gave her some pretty gnarly face scars. The other exception that managed to avoid catastrophic damage at the hands of the Autodocs is the Courier, whose brain, which was already damaged and scarred from the gunshot to the head, forced the Autodocs to correct its own programming, and for the first time, undertake the brain removal procedure as intended, without any further damage to the Courier's brain. Which really gives us a glimpse of how all this lobotomization stuff could have worked out for you if it was working properly, or if, for whatever reason, you've ever been shot in the head. This now successful Autodoc procedure resulted in a Courier who could walk, talk, and operate at the same cognitive level that they had previously, whilst also being separated from their own brain. Not only that, but the successful procedure resulted in a brain that maintains its own consciousness, distinct from that of the one inhabiting its former body, and it's also somehow much smarter and snobbier now that it's free from the chemical and hormonal influences that once plagued it.
How's the body doing? Any fresh head wounds I should know about?
The fact that its jar was lined with crushed mentats probably also helped it, and the Courier is even able to talk to, and if you're so inclined, flirt with their own disembodied brain. It would appear that this is made possible, according to conversations with Dr. Darla, due to the advanced synthetic brain now housed within the Courier's skull, being connected in some way to the intact, disembodied brain. And this is backed up by the brain's own response when the Courier threatens to smash the jar containing it. When threatened, the brain states that by harming or destroying its own brain, the Courier's body will lose most cognitive function and reverts to the aggressive basic state that you and your fellow lobotomites have now found yourselves in. So yeah, unfortunately for you, unless you've been shot in the head before, the Autodocs won't successfully extract a sentient brain for you to talk to. If, however, for whatever reason, when the think tank puts you through this lobotomization process, it were to work successfully and you could have a good old chat with your very own brain, what would you ask it? What conversations would you like to have? Let me know in the comments below and make sure to subscribe for more lore. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.